Dan and I made a tongue-in-cheek video where we tried to answer two commonly asked questions. Firstly, what on earth is a gravel bike? And secondly, why might you want one?
You're calling it tongue-in-cheek, Si, but what I heard was modern mountain bikes are boring.
Yes. Well, some of them are, aren't they? But anyway, funny enough, it caused quite a bit of debate, but from that, one question emerged, which is why had we compared a modern gravel bike to a retro mountain bike and not a modern 29er cross-country hardtail? Because apparently they can also do it all, but better.
Well, can they?
No. Well, actually, I don't know.
I want to find out.
Let's find out.
This will be a simple head-to-head challenge. Our mates at Canyon have supplied a Grail gravel bike and an Exceed cross-country bike, and Shimano have sent over their new gravel-specific GRX group set and an XTR group set for the mountain bike. We will compare them over 4 timed sectors which span the spectrum of road, mellow gravel, chunky gravel, and finally an XC mountain bike trail. Enough to let us see just what type of surface tips the balance in favour of one bike to the other.
We'll also dive into the tech to help explain the results that we're seeing. And then at the end, we'll give you our personal feedback as well. Because whilst the stopwatch doesn't lie, for many of us when riding off-road, speed is not the top priority. It's fun.
First up then, how do these two bikes compare on tarmac? No. Sorry, tarmac is a really important surface for a do-it-all bike, isn't it? For a start, most of us have got to ride on road to get to any off-road, or indeed, we might have to just link up sections of trail with sections of road.
Yeah, you'd have to be incredibly lucky not to cross the tarmac at any point on your ride.
Yep.
Anyway, the climb is the iconic Burrington Combe. And if you've never heard of it, it's 4 kilometers long, goes through a beautiful gorge, averages 6%. We're gonna race up it, turn around at the top, and we're gonna time the descent as well and include that in the overall time.
Yeah.
It's a complete test.
Like downhill mountain biking, but on the road.
And with that, the big helmets.
Yeah. People will definitely have heard of Burrington, mate. It's a giant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Now, if we were riding road bikes, we would of course start on that side of the cattle grid, but because this is a gravel video, we're going to start as we mean to go on this side of the cattle grid. Chris, are you ready to go, mate? Run number 1, 29er mountain bike?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect. Pain? Suffering?
Yes, quite a lot of pain, please. Yeah, 2K up, 2K down. Right. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Go!
And it's a headwind.
The other problem with this being a video not about road bikes, you can't justify anyone holding me up at the start. Right. Beep, 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 beep. Right, Chris, just watch out for this first section. It's really gnarly. Otherwise, enjoy.
And the halfway section. Right, 3, 2, 1, go!
Boom! Right, forks, as you can see, nice and open for this cattle grid section. Then I'm going to lock them out just after that. Right, 3, 2, 1, go! And forks locked out, there we go. Okay, I'm in my 10. Used my dropper post, didn't I, to get aero. Who'd have thought about that? Man bikers, you're missing a trick. And roadies. Well, those are the results. Chris, are you surprised at all?
Not massively, really, if I'm honest. What about you?
I did think this might be a little quicker, but no, otherwise, not hugely surprised. I suppose the question now is, why have we got the results that we have? Variety of reasons for sure, but we're going to start with the biggest one, your position on the bike.
A mountain bike is much taller, mainly because you have an extra 100mm of suspension under your handlebars, which jacks the front end up by about 100mm, funnily enough. And that's not a bad thing. Having a taller front end can give you much more control, certainly when the going gets steep. It is also a little bit shorter as well, again for control. Although, to be clear, it's not the frame that's shorter. On the contrary, the Exceed is actually longer by about 40 to 60mm depending on size, but the reach to the controls is larger on the gravel bike because you have a slightly longer stem, those drop handlebars, and also the shifters. On the Exceed cross-country bike, the bars are also wider, again for more control over rough and technical terrain. And when we say wider, we mean wider by about 30 centimetres.
But what's the relevance of this? Well, the shorter, higher, wider stance means that you will be putting in significantly more effort to travel at the same speed, simply because you're less aerodynamic.
Yes, and we know that that is a byword for boring, but in this case, the aerodynamic handicap is pretty significant. We reckon about 2k an hour at that sort of 30 kilometers an hour cruising speed. And that's a difference that you can really feel, as well as being able to see it clearly on your head unit. And even if speed isn't your thing, then you can put it another way, and that is that it's much harder to ride longer distances on the mountain bike than the gravel bike, which unsurprisingly is much closer to a road bike. Yes, it's a little bit shorter and a little bit higher for the same reasons as the Exceed, but the DNA unashamedly comes from the road.
One other aspect that sets these two types of bike apart is the gears. Whilst there is similar engineering across both GRX and XTR, a lot of tech has crossed over from the mountain bike world, as well as from the road group sets, to make this suitable for rugged off-road. You can't escape the fact that gears on a gravel bike are still designed for travelling at faster speeds.
Not quite road speeds, but not far off. With GRX, you can either have a 42-tooth single ring up front with an 11-42 cassette at the back, or, as I got in this case, a double chainring up front and an 11-34 at the back, giving me a lowest gear of 31-34, which is still considerably larger than the lowest gear on the mountain bike, which is 34-51. So at the lowest speed you can ride this bike, you're still going quicker. Now at the other end of the spectrum, the 48-tooth big ring that I've got on here allows me to pedal this bike significantly faster, about 10k an hour faster in fact on the descent, and you could clearly see that on the test that we've just done. The other point to note is that double chaining up front means you can have a closer ratio cassette at the back. So that means that there's less of a jump between gears, something that you do notice from time to time on the road. For example, again on that climb, I was struggling to find the optimal gear on the mountain bike, whereas I hadn't on this. Would it make a difference to the time? Probably not, no. But I do know that some people are bothered by that kind of thing, so I thought I'd mention it.
Ultimately, you can see the intentions of Shimano's designers. GRX has been designed for rides with faster average speeds in mind, with some faster bits in there, but more importantly, some faster, slower bits to boot.
Yeah. Let's go in search of some faster, slower bits, Chris.
I see, I was hoping for some slower, faster bits, actually.
Okay, well, whatever. Show me the gravel. Okay, Chris.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, can you hold me up, please, so I can get clipped in?
No, strictly not off-road. No, sorry.
Oh.
It's a rule.
All right, okay. All right, ready? Can you count me in at least?
I can do that.
Cool.
3, 2, 1. Get outside. Right, well, since side's gone, I must count myself in, aren't I? 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's good. Like a very quiet road. Perfect. Here he is, here he is. He's looking quick. Well done, mate. Styling.
Why, you're not even breathing.
I've been here for ages. How was that?
It's a lot tougher than you let on at the bottom. Oh, it was all right though.
Smooth?
Fast, and it's nice not to have a headwind like the road section.
Yes, that's a very good point. Okay.
Right, you're up first again, Si.
Yeah, mate. This takes me back, you know, like 20-something years. Foot down start, fire road in the distance.
It takes me back about 15
Goosebumps.
minutes to when we did it a minute ago. Anyway, right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go, Si.
Oh, I missed my pedal!
Look after my bike. Drops for leverage. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, it definitely wasn't any easier, but I suppose that's what riding as fast as you can always feels like. Didn't feel quite as quick, but it's gonna be close, I reckon. Right, where's Chris? He looks aero, doesn't he? Well done, mate.
A little bit more prepared for that. It does feel efficient though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And it just a little bit like lighter and more nimble.
Yeah.
So even though it's not technical, you're still like, don't know, it's agile.
Direct and agile.
Yeah. Any idea on the time?
Find out in a minute.
So the results for easy gravel. Si on his mountain bike took 6 minutes 34 and then 6 minutes 29 on the Grail. That's a difference of 5 seconds. And then for me, I took 6 minutes 20 on the mountain bike and 6:11 on the gravel bike. That's a difference of 9 seconds.
So, the gravel bike seems to be holding its own. Why? Well, one point is that mountain bike tyres are generally fatter. Most gravel bikes come with 40 to 45mm tyres, with our Grail hitting the sweet spot at 42, whereas most mountain bikes start at 54mm. And yes, you could fit narrower tyres, but these days that's a very rare sight.
These narrower and more lightly treaded tyres on the gravel bike, which are oh so typical of the genre, roll really, really fast on the other hand. Now, they're not quite as fast as a road bike tyre, but they don't lag too far behind. The tyres on the mountain bike, meanwhile, though, are harder to get up to speed and harder to maintain at your given speed. You can, of course, though, run a semi-slick or a slick mountain bike tyre, but these ones here are definitely a little bit slower. In this case, though, on this super smooth, fast gravel, the Grail still unsurprisingly has the edge. The body position that we've just been talking about is still paying dividends because we're traveling relatively quickly, and so the fact that we can move more easily through the air is a big plus point. And then, of course, the fact that these tyres are rolling more efficiently as well means that it just holds its speed that bit better. You can't help but feel that it's a more rewarding experience traveling faster for less effort. And what's not to like?
Right then, Si, so far, so gravel. Is now the time for the balance to tip completely in favour of the cross-country mountain bike?
Well, potentially we are going to move on now to chunky gravel, as our man Jay Power would call it. Basically still hard packed, but the rocks are a little bit larger and potentially looser. Run number 1, chunky gravel, Canyon Grail gravel bike. Chris, just go a little bit steady, mate, on some of those chunkier bits.
Yeah, all right. I can't promise that.
No.
I want to win the test, Si.
Well, all right.
3, 2, 1, go! Ooh, bit of wheel spin off the line.
Watch this. I'm going to put so much power through this back wheel that it's just going to wheel spin even more than Chris. I'll go now.
These test circuits are always harder than Si lets on. A little bit rougher as well for the gravel bike. It's good fun though. Strong finish. How was it?
It's good. Just kind of, just sort of monster truck your way through everything, you know? Like, it's not to say there's no skill involved, but you just kind of...
You float. There's more cruise, there's more float, there's more...
Yeah,
it just goes.
Exactly that.
Whereas I felt a little bit jerked around, if I'm honest, so I'm quite looking forward to getting on there now. Come on.
All right.
Let's swap.
Can we have a rest?
No, straight back down.
Now, Chris, you don't need to worry about wheel spins this time, mate. There's a lot more grip on those tyres, so you'll be fine.
Felt like I held myself back a bit there earlier.
Yeah, okay, right.
Right, it's a good loop. 3, 2, 1. What do you mean there's more grip?
I will spin this back wheel. Yes! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yeah!
He wasn't wrong. It definitely does float a little bit. I'm not sure which one I enjoyed the most, but it's definitely smoother on this. I'd like to know how Si's getting on the gravel bike. I'd almost say you look faster on that.
Mate, I did the biggest wheel spin off the line. Oh, you should have seen it. I must have lost a good 4 seconds just.
4 seconds of wheel spin. Your legs must be toast off the line. How was it anyway?
It's like you got to get your upper body involved a little bit more, haven't you, to just maintain that forward momentum. The more sort of engaged you are in that regard, the smoother you can ride across the bumps and the rocks. But
your heart rate goes up.
It's just a different ball game, isn't it? Like, you know, both great, just very different.
Yeah, you experience them in such a different way, but they're equally good fun.
I reckon this is probably going to be a bit slower. What do you think?
We'll find out in a minute, won't we? And the results for the chunky gravel? Well, Si took 4 minutes 32 on the mountain bike and 4 minutes 41 on the gravel bike, whilst I took 4:11 on the mountain bike and 4:24 on the gravel bike. So that does now tip the balance slightly in favour of the mountain bike, don't you think? Why? Well, first and foremost, this wider tyre that's been slowing us down until now is about to come into its own. Not these knobs on the side, their time will come, but simply the volume. You see, a tyre with higher volume can be run at a lower pressure without fear of hitting the rim, meaning you have more control and more comfort from the suspension that they offer.
Plus, we also have mechanical suspension. Yes, Mighty Jacks is up 100 millimeters, making us less aerodynamic for the road, but here, it's now actually allowing us to roll more efficiently over this rough surface. We actually saw that to great effect when we took a Canyon Exceed onto the cobbles of Paris-Roubaix, and we found that it was significantly quicker over the pavé compared to not only just a road bike, but also a gravel bike as well.
Let's not do the gravel bike down too much though. Yes, it may be a little slower, but it's coping pretty well. Evolutions like the Shadow Plus clutch in the rear GRX derailleur helping keep the ride nice and silent. Very similar to the XTR rear mech, and there's a reason for that. The tech comes directly from there.
And while the Grail doesn't have any active suspension, it does have an awful lot of design tweaks that help to improve the compliance of the bike. So taking the edge off the bumps. Everything from these dropped seat stays here, the location of the seat clamp, again down here, this amazing split seat post design that acts like a leaf spring. And then up front, we have, of course, the hover bar. Visually very distinctive. The idea behind it is that the design allows for more compliance on this top section, so you actually get a little bit more flex, a little bit more comfort from it compared to a normal drop handlebar. All of them very effective, and so yeah, you've got to say a gravel bike, whilst not as fast as a mountain bike in this, is still very capable and very fun. But ultimately, you can't get away from the fact that the rougher and rockier it is, the faster a mountain bike is going to be.
What then about actual mountain biking?
Well, Chris, there is a little known but amazing bike park right here. No, there isn't.
Oh.
What we're going to do is go old school, okay? This here is a piece of single track that I've been riding for God knows how long, 20-something years. and it should be a pretty nice test, actually. It's proper mountain biking, but old school proper mountain biking.
Who's up first?
Well, you're on the mountain bike, so you go first. I have a feeling it might be quicker.
Sorry. Just for an idea, how long roughly is this going to take?
It's about 1.5 miles.
Oh, okay.
So at your speed, mate, probably about 3 minutes. No, might be a bit longer than that. It's a corker though.
Yeah, right, okay. 3, 2, 1, go!
Just, you got to watch out for the caves, Chris. There's some quite big caves. Also feels a bit lonely when you're left here on the start line. Anyway, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Ooh, that's quite different to the gravel. It's quite dirty, slippery, pretty rocky too. You enjoy that?
Oh.
It lived up to expectation for me.
It did, like, it's frustrating that we've set this as the course, because that is proper mountain biking, but it's really rocky, and rocks, sharp, big, pointy ones, and gravel bikes don't really mix, do they?
No.
So it kind of means it's a bit less fun. If that had been super smooth, oh man, this would have been a big grin. As it was, there was a little bit of like, ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ah. Can I have that one, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm looking forward to clinging on for dear life on that thing. It's going to be good fun.
Okay, Chris, now you know what it's already like. How are you feeling about tackling it on the Grail?
Yeah, there's a little air of anticipation. Is that the right word?
Could be, mate. It depends if you're anticipating something.
We'll find out, won't we? 3, 2, 1, go!
Now, I confess, I am really, really looking forward to this. Oh. Now, I know what you're thinking, I shouldn't have finished first.
You can stop laughing for a start.
What happened, Chris?
I feel like I may have been sabotaged. It must have been flat before I rode it. My goodness me. I was clinging on and I must have just caught one of the square edge stones. Oh, it's good to run though, it's good exercise.
Yeah.
Whew.
Got to say, we are not running tubeless today, are we?
We're not
Which is
running
probably the reason. You could have got away with it otherwise. Right then, we've only got one counting result then. It's all on my shoulders, these ones, isn't it?
Well, technically you could say that we just found kind of the edge of what a gravel tyre is actually capable of. So the result still stands. It's like getting to the end of a bike race and saying, oh, I punctured, doesn't count.
Well, as in, like, it does count.
Of course it counts.
Good point. Well, the results don't lie, do they? And what a surprise. On the mountain bike trail, the mountain bike has utterly smashed it, basically. And I think we can attribute that probably down to those big wide tyres again, the suspension forks, and then maybe like the position as well.
Yeah, it's not a massive surprise, is it? But I think you still have to give credit to the Grail. Right up until I pinged it on that rock, it was coping incredibly well.
It was. You got to ride it differently down there, haven't you? You kind of nurse it as opposed to sort of launch it. But yeah, it does go across.
One final aspect that we haven't touched on yet is the weight. If you have any concerns about the robustness of gravel bikes, check this. A Grail CF SLX frameset is 830 grams. The Exceed SLX frameset is just 870 grams. Both are super, super light, but telling, I think, that there isn't that much difference between them. And the gap is even smaller on these CF SL models, just 10 grams, in fact. However, As a result of the forks, the wider and burlier wheels and tyres, plus the dropper post, our Exceed is now significantly heavier than this Grail by 1.4 kilos in fact, because this Grail tips the scales at just over 9.
And you know what? I've done a lot of gravel riding this year. It's the first time I punctured it.
Is that right? Well, there we go. Right, Chris, I think there is more to conclude with, but it feels like a windy moorland as the light is fading is not the place. Should we hit the pub, mate?
Should we find an open fire?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Oh, hang on, I'm shouldering. See you there.
All right, mate, I'll get the round in. I don't want to tell him, but actually it's that way.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. You see who's driving today, can't you?
That's it. Right, warmed up, we can now give you our conclusion, which unsurprisingly shows that gravel bikes are faster than mountain bikes on the road and still slightly faster on smooth gravel. How much faster they are depends on how fast you're traveling. So the faster you go, the greater that speed differential between the two bikes is.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the mountain bike, it's definitely faster on the chunkier gravel where it gets a little bit rougher. And it completely comes into its own when you take it onto proper mountain bike trails, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Now, the reasons for those differences, I think, essentially boils down to the fact that a gravel bike is more efficient at traveling quickly. And that principally is down to your body position on the bike, but also some of the component choices as well. Whereas on the flip side, the mountain bike is faster on mountain bike trails because of those big, wide volume tyres and the wide handlebar that gives you that ability to basically smash through anything.
Plow on down the hill.
Plow through anything, yeah.
So I think it's worth noting that our comparisons with the mountain bike have been done on some pretty rocky terrain. Smoother surfaces would have revealed a much smaller difference between the two bikes.
That's right, actually, yeah. Mountain bike trails vary significantly, and ours were definitely at the rockier end of the spectrum. And that's a really important point, because actually, gravel bikes don't really like big rocks, do they? That's the point at which you start to lose a little bit of the fun factor, because you just have to be a little bit more careful about what you're hitting. Smoother mountain bike trails, not only would the time difference have been smaller, actually it would have been an awful lot more fun on a gravel bike as well.
Yeah, definitely. Although ultimately, I don't really think it matters which bike you choose. Both of them are brilliant bikes and they're both a lot of fun to ride. And when it comes to decision-making time, it's the terrains that you frequently find yourself riding on that's going to help influence that decision. If you ride on the faster, smoother terrain or the slower, rougher terrain, that's really going to make a big difference to what you choose, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, very good point. What's your hot take then, your personal take home from today's riding?
Ultimately, I think they're both brilliant bikes, and they're brilliant because they'll get you out there on the trail and riding. I think they can both kind of do each other's domain. Like the mountain bike is great at doing a lot of the things that the gravel bike does. Equally, the Grail is also great at doing some of the things the mountain bike does. But I wouldn't want to spend hundreds of kilometres on the road on a cross-country mountain bike.
No.
And equally, if I was riding loads of proper mountain bike trails, I wouldn't choose the Grail.
No, that's a fair point actually. For me, one of the things is that I love the way a gravel bike feels in that it's kind of small and it's quite low to the ground, it's quite lively, it's quite responsive. And I just enjoy the feeling that you get when you ride it. I like the fact that it feels kind of like a road bike when you're riding on the road, and I like the fact that you can take that feeling and take it away from cars and onto the dirt.
It's very freeing, that.
It is, yeah, and I do ride my gravel bike on proper mountain bike trails a lot as well, but I choose ones that are just a little bit smoother and nowhere near big rocks, basically.
You find yourself tiptoeing otherwise, don't you?
Exactly, and that's no fun. And I do ride a mountain bike a lot as well, but the type of riding I do is very different. I tend to ride much more technical terrain, and I won't tend to ride such big distances either. Like a big mountain bike ride for me is probably only like 40k, so a couple of hours riding. So it's just, they are just different, aren't they? As well as being able to do the same things, you use them in different ways.
It's very similar for me as well. Like, I would choose the Grail if I was going to ride longer distances, and if I wanted to tackle something more challenging, I'd definitely choose the cross-country mountain bike. You know, there's steep climbs that you can only get up in that tiny gear that the mountain bike has, and again, the technical steep twisty descents. It's not really the domain of the Grail, is it?
No. You know what, Chris? I'm going to be really interested as well to know what the viewers think about this, because it's proven to be something of a controversial subject. 29er mountain bikes have a lot of fans who rightly point out that they are still really fast on roads and smooth trails and capable of mountain bike trails as well. But be interested to see how you've interpreted these results. So make sure you let us know in the comment section down below.
The ultimate YouTube pub discussion.
Absolutely.
Give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video.
Yeah.
For more content right now.
Well, yeah, why not check out a proper all-American gravel race that I got to do in Steamboat this year. Probably got more than I bargained for, but it was cracking good fun.